In February 2000, the serene life of Jane Dorotik, a nurse and mother, was shattered when her husband, Bob Dorotik, was found dead near their ranch. What began as a tragic loss soon turned into a convoluted legal battle that would last for decades. Jane Dorotik's life seemed ordinary. She and her husband Bob had been married for over 30 years. Together, they shared a love for horses and a quiet life on their ranch. But behind closed doors, their relationship was strained. On February 13, 2000, Bob's lifeless body was discovered on a dirt path near their property. He had been brutally beaten and strangled. Authorities quickly turned their focus to Jane. Investigators alleged that Jane had killed Bob to escape a marriage she no longer wanted. Prosecutors argued that she staged his murder to look like an attack by an unknown assailant. Jane's account of the night differed from what prosecutors alleged. She claimed she had been at home tending to the horses and had no knowledge of Bob's whereabouts. In 2001, Jane was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years to life. The prosecution pointed to circumstantial evidence, bloodstains in their home, discrepancies in her alibi, and claims of financial motive. The prosecution painted a grim picture of Jane's intentions, alleging she stood to gain financially from Bob's death. However, Jane's defense argued that the investigation lacked critical forensic analysis and was influenced by preconceived notions of her guilt. For nearly 2 decades, Jane and her legal team fought to prove her innocence. In 2020, new developments brought the case back into the spotlight. Advances in forensic science revealed troubling inconsistencies in the evidence presented at her trial. DNA analysis showed that critical evidence, such as bloodstains, did not match Bob's. Moreover, forensic experts testified that certain injuries on Bob's body suggested an assailant much stronger than Jane. Questions about mishandling and contamination of evidence during the original investigation raised doubts about Jane's conviction. 48 Hours began following this case shortly after Jane Dorotik was released on bail back in 2000. As Jane told 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, "I know in my heart that I'm innocent, and everybody that knows me knows I'm innocent." Jane was a successful healthcare executive who loved horses. Bob was an engineer with a passion for hiking and jogging. Over the years, the Dorotiks' relationship had weathered some rough patches, but Jane said at the time of the murder their marriage was better than ever. It wasn't what investigators believed. They said the Dorotiks' marriage was in trouble again, providing a possible motive for murder: money. If the couple divorced, Jane would have had to give Bob part of her income. The prosecution called it a calculated, premeditated, deliberate murder. They believed Jane killed Bob in the couple's bedroom and then moved him to the wooded area where his body was discovered. At trial, prosecutors told jurors about tire impressions found near Bob's body that were said to match Jane's truck. A piece of rope hanging on the porch that appeared to be the kind of rope found around Bob's neck. Blood in the bedroom said to belong to Bob, and a syringe with Jane's fingerprint in Bob's blood. While Claire Dorotik never believed her mother could have killed her father, her brothers had doubts. At trial, Alex and Nick Dorotik were the state's star witnesses against their mother. After deliberating for 4 days, the jury convicted Jane of first-degree murder. Moriarty spoke with Jane after she was found guilty. "It's like, no, this can't be. I was so certain that I was walking out," said Jane. "But what made you feel that during the trial?" Moriarty asked. "Because I'm innocent, because I thought they would see the truth," Jane replied. Jane Dorotik went to prison, but she never stopped fighting to overturn her conviction. The Loyola Project for the Innocent took up her case. In 2015, new DNA tests were done on the rope used to strangle Bob Dorotik, scrapings from under his fingernails and his clothing. DNA was found, but it didn't belong to Jane. Her lawyers discredited the validity of some of the forensic evidence used against her, like the tire impressions and blood found in the house. Questions were also raised about some of the criminalists who worked on the case, as well as the lab that processed some of the evidence. In 2020, Jane's murder conviction was overturned and she was released from prison. But prosecutors planned to retry her for Bob's murder. On May 16, 2022, instead of a retrial, the case against Jane Dorotik was dismissed. After the judge ruled certain evidence inadmissible, the prosecution concluded it could no longer ethically proceed to trial because it believed the remaining evidence was insufficient to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Absolutely, it was stolen from me. Absolutely stolen. I was going along in my life, I lost my husband, and somehow I'm accused. And then convicted. That's the worst theft ever. Jane replied, "Thank God for Loyola Project for the Innocent, who's willing to delve into all of the evidence. When you are thinking about taking away someone's freedom for life, putting them in prison, don't you owe them a thorough investigation?" In 2021, Jane's conviction was overturned, and she was released from prison after 20 years. Her attorneys argued that systemic flaws in the investigation and trial had led to a wrongful conviction. Jane's release was a bittersweet moment. While she regained her freedom, the pain of losing Bob and spending decades behind bars remained an indelible scar. Today, Jane Dorotik is an advocate for criminal justice reform, sharing her story to highlight the flaws in the system. Her case underscores the importance of forensic accuracy and the devastating impact of wrongful convictions. The case of Jane Dorotik serves as a reminder of the complexities of justice and the resilience of the human spirit. While answers may remain elusive, her story is one of hope and determination.